Hello, my name is Candace. Welcome to this Healthy You website series where we're going to give you a brief overview on some of the important topics that pertain to plant-based nutrition and how you can have positive impacts on your health. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how our family genetic history plays a role in the health outcomes we have versus our family habits. And which one has a greater pull. So I wanted to start off by telling you my story and how I became interested in the topics of nutrition and the control I have over my own health. So these are my two sweet grandpas. Both of them surprisingly passed away in the same year in 2009. My grandpa on the left passed away at the age of 73 of colon cancer, and my grandpa on the right passed away at the age of 90 in his sleep. Some of the chronic diseases that run in my family are colon cancer, high cholesterol, heart disease, dementia, and the women in my family seem to have odd immune system related skin issues like psoriasis and eczema. I remember my grandpa, who lived to be 90, him telling me that when he was younger, his extended family owned a dairy farm. And the men in his family, for breakfast, they would have this big breakfast of like a big steak and eggs, and everything was cooked up in butter, and they had a big hearty breakfast before they went out to work for the day. And as he got older, he noticed that the men in his family died really young of heart disease, some as young as in their 50s. And he paid attention to that and started learning as much as he could about health and nutrition. And so much so that by the time I came around, we had family members that called him the rabbit. He just really lived off the produce that he grew in his own garden, and just really had a focus on fresh fruits and vegetables. And I feel that this made a major contribution to the quality of life that he was able to lead. And I also remember how difficult it was to watch my other grandpa struggle with his colon cancer treatments, and how afraid I felt when my dad would talk about how he felt that he was going to pass away from the same disease. It really made me wake up and want to learn all I could to see how much control I had over my health destiny. Was this just going to be my fate? Like I was going to have the same issues? Or did I have some control based on how I chose to live my life? A new hot topic of research in nutritional science is called epigenetics. So the researchers study individual genetic expression to see if the things that we do, the things that we eat, the way that we live can have an effect on whether those genes express themselves or not. It's been a really powerful field of research, and here is what the research is finding: that we have 80 to 90% of control over our own health outcomes. So what does that mean on the flip side? That means that yes, you still have a 10 to 20% risk of developing some of the chronic issues that may run in your family. But that also means you have an 80 to 90% chance of not developing them if you choose to change your habits, if you choose to be very mindful about how you eat, the sleep you get, the exercise you get, and the way you live your life. You have that much control over whether or not you will develop the same conditions that are chronic conditions in your family. I love those numbers. They give me so much hope. So one of the fascinating fields in this epigenetics research is migration studies. And so what they do is they follow groups of people or individuals, and they track how they lived, their lifestyle factors, the way they worked, the way they slept, the way they ate in one area, and then they follow them as they move to live in a different area of the world and adopt the lifestyles of the new area where they live, and they see how that affects their health. So one of the fascinating, or I'll tell you a few of the fascinating things I've learned as I've been looking at these migration studies. In Japan, before the 1950s, because they ate a very traditional diet that was focused in rice and then mostly vegetables, a little bit of meat, these populations had very low rates of colon cancer, heart disease. They didn't even have a word for hot flashes, hallelujah, in their language until after the 1950s, when the people in Japan began to adopt a more westernized diet. And now, at this time, they have similar rates to the disease rates in America because they are eating like America. There's a Native American tribe in Arizona that half of their tribe lives in Arizona and the other half of their tribe lives in Mexico. And the tribe in Mexico eats a very traditional diet that's focused in whole grains, fruits, and vegetables, and their disease rates are very low. And the genetically identical group that lives in Arizona is eating a highly processed standard American diet, and their disease rates are through the roof. They've also taken or looked at twins who were separated at birth and identical twins that have the exact same genetic makeup. And they've studied the effects of their lifestyles and the family's eating habits in their homes. And your daily choices of what you choose to eat and how you choose to live have far more of an influence on your health outcomes than your genes do. So, as Dr. Michael Greger says, disease runs in families because diets run in families. I have a few friends who I know that their families all struggle with health issues and are very overweight, but my friends, because they've chosen to live a life and eat very differently than the way their families eat, they don't have any of those issues and are healthy weights and don't have the same problems that their families have. There's a man, you can watch a little video about him on I think, I don't know if it's on YouTube, but you can Google Eric Adams and put in DNA and dinner. And there is this video of this man who thought that he was just destined to have diabetes because it ran in his family. And when he learned that he could change his habits, he was completely cured of his diabetes because he changed the way that he ate and the way that he lived his life. So going forward, I want you to remember that you are in control of your health. And no one can do it for you. It's your job. It's your job to get informed, and it's your job to adopt the best practices so that you can live a long and healthy life free of disease, regardless of the diseases that run in your family. You have an 80 to 90% sense of control over your future. And I hope that that leaves you with hope, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.